Going on, everybody? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Sub to the channel, hit the bell if you are not subbed yet, and definitely join the discussion in the comments. I'm out moving around right now, guys, so excuse any background noise you guys may hear. I apologize. But listen, I've been covering, the Tiger King, Joe Exotic, Carole Baskin story on this channel, right? And something, that I've let you guys know that I really intend to really delve into and bring you guys some content on is the disappearance of Carole's previous husband, Don. Okay, and a lot of people are curious about this as well. Get in the comments, let me know your guys' thoughts on all this. But listen, they put out on their YouTube channel a statement, saying that they feel they got hustled, conned by the creators of Tiger King. That they, came to them saying basically they wanted to kind of work with them as partners and make a docu-series exposing the cruelty to big cats and stuff like that, and cub petting and how it's wrong and everything like that, which was going to be the equivalent of Blackfish, which was, the documentary that put SeaWorld in the hot seat, right? Well, in this message that they put out, Carole's husband put it out. As I said, it looked to me, right, like he was name dropping Kim Kardashian. He wanted to get Kim on his side. As we know, Kim's got a lot of clout these days. Not that she already didn't, but as far as like activism and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Kim's freed people from life sentences and stuff like that. And she had tweeted about this, about, do you guys think Carole killed her husband? I need to know. You know what I mean? So he said, hey, I want you to come to the park if you see this or whatever, hoping to get Kim on his side. You know what I mean? Like they're bothered by this Tiger King docu-series big time. You know what I mean? You could tell in this message they were refuting a lot of stuff. They said, like I said, to them, according to them, this was supposed to be a documentary that they were partners on, and it turned out to be about like a Joe Exotic story, and they're mad. Well, in this statement, they said, go to this website, which is where I'm at right now, and we're gonna, refute the claims of Don's disappearance. And they basically said that, that all comes from stories from Don's family, basically because they were mad Don left her, his previous wife's family's mad because Don left her to marry Carole, right? And, this is the website that I'm at where they're saying they're going to clear it all up, right? So I just kind of wanted to go over this with you guys. And, above this, as you see, lies in Netflix, Tiger King regarding disappearance of Don Lewis and other misinformation about Big Cat Rescue. And this, they just kind of go on here to talk about what I was just telling you, how the directors of the Netflix documentary lied to them. They worked on it for 5 years. And here, I'm not saying don't read this. This is just not what I'm really delving into right now. They talk about how Joe lied about the conditions of their park, how he made it look like the cats are all in small cages and stuff like this. And they just leave a lot of links for you to get involved in the fight against, all the cruelty that goes on to the animals, and then they talk here about suing Joe's mom. Like they're covering all this, right? But we want to get down here to, where is it? The time leading up to Don's disappearance. Okay, now, like I said, when they shared this link, this is like specifically what they were talking about, that they want to clear this up. So they say, in the few years preceding his disappearance, Don's behavior was gradually showing signs of mental deterioration. Don, from time to time, would buy vehicles or other equipment at auctions with a view to reselling them, although mostly he never got around to reselling them. But gradually, his hoarding of junk that he brought to the 40-acre sanctuary now sits on an increased and involved junk of no value. So they're saying this guy would just buy all this junk. I don't know. Everyone else described this guy as a businessman, and if you notice here, they're leaning on the whole dementia thing that they were saying in the documentary. Now, his family said that's not true, but not just his family. If you recall, like people that did business with I believe his attorney, a lot of people were saying that's not true. Now, they go on to say here, um, he deteriorated into a dumpster diving and even got stuck in a dumpster and called me crying because he did not know where he was. Back then, Alzheimer's was not a commonly used word. I'd never heard of it. Someone mentioned Alzheimer's to me and got Don to agree to set up an appointment, blah, blah, blah. He referred to he referred us to Dr. West in the same building who was not there, so Don saw another doctor. He diagnosed Don with bipolar disorder and gave him a prescription to have an MRI at St. Joseph's Hospital. I did not find the prescription until I was searching his bedside table to look for clues to his disappearance. So that's kind of odd that he went to this um, doctor's appointment and you think she would have been there with him, but apparently she didn't even know he got bipolar meds until it was he was already missing. Now listen, I'm not just saying, oh, this, I'm not trying to just sit here and go all over this and say, oh, this guy, this woman's guilty for sure. I'm saying based on the stuff that I've seen so far, and it's not just what I saw in the documentary, I've seen other information. It seems very iffy to me. It seems real funny style. I don't know, I have a hunch that she did have something to do with his disappearance. And but all they're saying here basically is they're trying to, so far they're rambling on about this whole Alzheimer's um, situation, or uh, they're going that route with it. I'm sorry, guys, all over the place today. But anyways, here she goes. His behavior became increasingly strange. He started refusing to use the bathroom and defecating outside. Now, whoa, you got to really go that far after this man's missing, dead. You could just say there's other ways you could say that. Come on, man. The man's defecating outside. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like they're really trying to paint a picture here for us. Like they're a little extra out with this. You could just say his hygiene became erratic, and he did not take care of himself well, and he needed help using the bathroom, or like, I don't know. You didn't come on. Like, do you guys agree with me? Like, they're really trying to make this man look bad. And it says he brought in a homeless man to stay in our house. I rescheduled an appointment for him to see the specialist, Dr. Gold, but he disappeared before the appointment's date. So basically, I'm going to continue reading this, but this is their big, like, how they're going to clear all this up for us. Okay? This is how they're going to tell us Carole didn't have anything to do with us with this, by saying he got told he was bipolar, and he was hoarding junk and starting to use the bathroom outside, and then he disappeared after he brought a homeless man. I don't know, man. This sounds a little far-fetched to me. As I said, his family was not the only one saying this guy, or this guy was still sharp. He didn't have dementia. He didn't have Alzheimer's. She was wilding. You know what I mean? She's lying. Other people did. Like I said, business associates and stuff. And it's kind of weird, too, that I recall she was saying when he went missing, he was going to he was handling some business where she said he was going to fly, I forget to what country it was, but overseas, and he had a plan where he was going to eventually move there, and he was selling things off and stuff like that. He was doing all that. He went on basically a business trip where he disappeared, and he could get all that together, but he couldn't get together using the bathroom. Like, I don't know, that's their big cover up, right? Or that's their big fixing all those lies. This is it right here. I don't know, man. It's not sounding too good to me. Like I said, they're trying to paint that picture a little too hard that this guy was not right in the head. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you feel. But like I said, Join the discussion. Get in the comments. That's what this channel is all about. Make sure to subscribe, guys. Hit the bell. But let's continue, okay? But yeah, he's got all that business in order, but he's bringing home homeless people. I don't know, man. And anyone out there who was ever had someone, family member or a close one with dementia, Alzheimer's, let me know what you guys think about this. But this just seems iffy to me that this is their big answer to all these rumors and lies, right? While they sit, they're sitting pretty. And we saw those documents that were changed to, say upon disappearance. We saw that, right? That was as an attorney, or an attorney that worked with him, that went over that paperwork. Now it says, everyone repeats the lie that Don was a millionaire when I met him. He had a business cutting the axles off trailers pulled by tractors and selling the boxes as storage and the axles back to Great Dane. If you search the property records, you will find he only owned 2 real estate properties at the time. He may well have been worth 6 figures, and coming from a very modest background, would have felt he was rich. No one, including Anne McQueen, who had access to his books, has ever provided any bank records or other evidence that he had more than that. One day at the bank, he overheard a bank officer say he had a $20,000 loan in default he would be glad to sell for $2,000. So now they're trying to say this guy didn't even have money. Okay, someone clearly had money for them to have this property and all that, unless, I don't know, I'm going to continue reading here, but I don't know, you know what I mean? But let's continue. So it says, he got the information, and because he could not read beyond a first grade level, asked me to look into it. Now, hold on. This guy was doing all this business. Now, don't get me wrong. We've seen people before who were successful, but, you know what I mean? But could not read. So like I said, we've seen people, celebrities, all kinds of successful people who, were illiterate and things like that. But I just don't buy that this man, they're trying a little too hard to me here to just make it look like this guy was incompetent and broke. Someone had money to own all that property and everything like that. And in the documentary, she didn't dispute that she grew up and had no money. She came from nothing. And that, he picked her up basically walking down the street. This is just a little odd. This is, like I said, this is how they're refuting all these claims that they had anything to do with this disappearance. Now it says, we started buying defaulted loans from banks and going to tax deed sales. This was before this became popular. Sorry guys, this became a popular business. There were few people doing it. With me doing the research, negotiations, and the title clearing on the properties, we built this to a portfolio of properties to rent or resell that was worth around $5 million at the time of his disappearance. Now, so it sounds like she's basically saying she's the one that came up with this brilliant idea and is the reason for the wealth that they did had. But this just isn't adding up to me. As I recall, they also, I believe, they put the ex-wife, I could be wrong, but I believe they put the ex-wife up in a house on the same property. I don't know, this just after he left her for Carole, but I don't know, I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm just going over this and reacting to this with you guys, but please join the discussion in the comments. But this just, it sounds like they're trying to make this guy just look totally incompetent, and like she didn't need him at all, and it just feels like they're trying a little too hard. And I get it sometimes if a couple has a falling out, the family members are going to side with their side of things, but their stories may vary a little bit different. But we saw other people outside of the family say different things than this. And if someone was incompetent to the point, like I said, like they said in here, that they couldn't even use the bathroom correctly and were bringing home homeless people and hoarding junk, I feel like the family, if it was that bad, they would have to somehow, acknowledge that. But let's continue. Where were we? Okay, around 5 million. We kept the properties in trust during the roughly 10 years we were partners before his divorce and our marriage. There were properties we bought together and some Don bought on his own or with another woman, Pam. When we married, I put all of those I had not worked on into one trust. The ones from our joint efforts we kept in a separate trust. The trust holding the properties I was not involved in was set up with his children as beneficiaries if he passed and called the PRSL Land Trust. I was the beneficiary of the trust holding the properties I was involved in. Anyone can search his name in the public records from 1950 to 97 to see this is true. So they're going to go on here to talk about the people they interviewed. But like I said, I'm just reacting to this here. But I don't know. You guys sounding a little iffy to me. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to do a little more digging. But, she's basically, another thing, too, is say if she did help him build some of this wealth, which I don't buy. And she's saying that he was originally worth 6 figures. That's not broke. That isn't broke at all. But anyways, even if someone did help you accumulate that money, say, he was the one that more made the decisions, or she just didn't want to be with him anymore, or for whatever reason, you know what I mean? She still could have wanted to get rid of this guy. But it says the main people interviewed and their lies. Ann McQueen is referred to as Don's trusted assistant. A few months before his disappearance, we caught her embezzling roughly $600,000 in properties by buying them with our funds and putting them in her name. A court ordered her to return them. There's a lot here. A lot of this, I'm going to have to fact check. As I said, I'm just reacting, to this. And believe me, I'll bring you all the guys, all the, videos as we go over all this information. But I just wanted to share this with you guys and see what you think. If you're on the same page as me. And regardless, like I said, even if she didn't say she isn't responsible for his disappearance, I thought it was in rather poor taste, the picture they were trying to paint of this guy, But I'll let you guys, hop on here and read the rest of this. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, we'll go back to that, but I want to look at the circumstantial evidence. The series makes a huge deal out of Don having applied for a restraining order that was denied, and that the term disappearance used in the power of attorney document. Both have logical explanations. This is important here. Ann's story about being told by Don to deliver the restraining order application to police if something happened to him does not make logical sense based on her behavior after he disappeared. Don spent 1 week per month in Costa Rica. He was messing with other women daily. He would go to Costa Rica during the week I was having my menstrual cycle. This woman is weird. We don't need to know all that. I mean, I guess we do if we really want to dig into this deep, but... Alright, so she says she accepted as something I had to live with. During the week he was away, I would haul off the property as much of the junk as I could. Wendell told Don I was doing this. Don tried calling the police to get them to stop me. Now, let's pause again there. Now, as I said to everyone, multiple times, just reacting to what they put out. You know what I mean? I'm going to fact check this stuff, but this is what they're putting out to us is the proof that, she had nothing to do with this. This guy was not right. Okay, so he's not right in the head. He's so bad that he's using the bathroom outside, bringing home homeless people, hoarding junk, but he's still able. Now, remember, he would fly to Costa Rica. So he would load up the plane, fly to Costa Rica. Sorry, guys, I'm a little all over the place today. But fly to Costa Rica, handle his business, come back. Then when he's getting calls, yo, she's throwing your stuff out, he would call the police and say, listen, go stop her. Like, I don't know, that just, to me, seems like this guy still had it. As I've stated multiple times, that's what his lawyer said. That's what other people he did business with said. You know what I mean? But and then it says they told him he would need a restraining order. It is unclear if it was Don's idea to get a restraining order. He should say, I threatened him, or if someone like Wendell suggested that. Don filed the order June 20th, 97, and it was denied. Don disappeared 2 months later, August 18th, 97. Anne claims Don told her to give the document to the police if anything happened to him. If someone tells you that and the person disappears 2 months later, do you forget that, as Anne claims? Which she's repeating herself here. No, you remember and give it to the police immediately. But Anne did not tell the police or me about it until September 9th, 97, when she claims to have suddenly remembered just in time to spring it on me in a court hearing. Anne is an embezzler. As you know, I skipped over some of the stuff about the embezzlement. I'm just, I don't want to have you guys on here all day. And as I said, you guys who are real interested in this can also go back over it, on your own. And, we're going to really get into this. But let's see here. And her claim that Don told her if anything happens and she simply forgot until the hearing 3 weeks later is simply not credible. Later, when Anne was forced to return the embezzled properties at the end of the negotiations, with the matter now closed, she opened up and told me that she knew all along that the only reason Don applied for the order was to stop me from removing the junk. Now, this just all sounds, he's hoarding junk, and the junk's valuable to him. Like I said, he seems like he still's with it, not like he's this man that, clearly needed help, because, as I keep stating, he couldn't even use the bathroom correctly. I don't know. You guys get in the comments and let me know what you think. But Don had told me about people going to Costa Rica and disappearing. That's odd. And she didn't say anything also, too. You notice she mentions the thing about the restraining order in the disappearance, but she didn't say that the disappearance part wasn't true, I believe. Our Costa Rican attorney, Roger Peterson, said the helicopter brothers were the local version of the mob, and Don was loaning them money. That is why I included disappearance. Oh, she's mentioning that right now, as an event would activate the power of attorney. I am sure Attorney Joe Fritz is correct that this is unusual. It made perfect sense in this situation, given what I was told by Don and by Peterson. Seems like I don't know. You guys be the judge of that. As they said, it is highly, unusual for someone to put disappearance in that paperwork. But she's saying, oh, he mentioned people disappear in Costa Rica. And he was dealing with the mob. Their equivalents of the mob. Like, I don't know, I just feel like they're trying too hard here. I don't know. Or maybe if someone's accused and they didn't do something, they go too hard. But like I said, we're just going over this and reacting to all this. It made perfect sense in this situation, given what I was told by Don and by Peterson. Flying to Costa Rica. The entire discussion of whether Don's small plane could fly to Costa Rica was totally irrelevant. The planes could not fly that far, and no one ever suggested they could. He purchased a number of properties in Costa Rica, and after his disappearance, one of the caretakers called and told me there were people reporting seeing him there. That is the only reason I urged the police to investigate there, but the series seems to imply I was suggesting he flew one of his planes there. I don't know. She didn't mention that on the series at all. Maybe that got edited out of it, or, that people reported him seeing there. I mean, yes, they could have done that. We'll get to the bottom of that, but maybe she didn't think to say that till now. Maybe it's BS, right? The claim was made by Kenny Farr that the police did not examine the van. It was the police who found the van at the airport, not me. If you recall from the Tiger King, they said they found his van at the airport. I think like a week later or something like that. And the mechanic Dale Lively said they came to him because they found his fingerprints in the van. So I have no idea where Kenny got that idea. The meat grinder, this is the most ludicrous of all lies. Everything could make life difficult for me. Don disappeared. They spread this rumor. The whole meat grinder thing does sound a little, I don't know. You guys get in the comments about that, but I've worked in restaurants where we had meat grinders. One that I worked at, we had like this meatloaf that everyone loved. You know what I mean? And it had a lot of good meat in it. You know what I'm saying? Like top round beef, pork, a bunch of stuff in it. You know what I mean? And we would grind it up and season all good. Like people came from all around. It won awards and like food tastings and stuff like that. And because this was like an upscale place, but we did have a meat grinder, and I find it pretty ludicrous for someone to be ground up. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, and the media loved it. The meat grinder shown in the video was enormous. Our meat grinder was one of those little tabletop hand cranks. Now hold on though. I don't buy that this meat grinder they're showing here is the one that they had to grind up meat for cats. Unless, it wasn't for the cats. Meat had to first be cut into 1-inch cubes, go through it, the idea. But the Netflix directors did not care. Now, I just want to say, if you did feed someone to a cat, which I don't know if that is, exactly how she disposed of them, would you even need to grind them up? I don't know. You know what I mean? You let me know what you guys think in the comments. But the Netflix directors did not care. They just showed a bigger grinder. The series makes it sound like there was something nefarious about my moving the office trailer to the sanctuary properties to secure it. They implied this was wrong because it was Ann's office. Ann was spotted taking boxes of records out of the trailer, which she was not entitled to do. Ann was an employee. It was not her trailer. It belonged to our business. I removed it to where I could keep it secure, so she could not steal any documents. I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm not gonna go over everything here. As I said, I urge you guys to go and read it. But this is about someone else, other people. Briefly, some of the other people interviewed, and this is them just trying to slam other people. I don't know. It's just like they're going really hard here. They're going on the defense hard, and they're stooping very low. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like they're showing that they play dirty games. But this is where they're just saying, how bad some of the other people's zoos are. But that's another thing that they stated in their message, where they were saying how much of a lie the documentary was. They were saying that it showed one day a year they have like 600 people come. It's like some annual event they do with everyone that's within their group. And like I said, it's all kind of bizarre to me where you got to earn different colors, and I don't know. But anyways, maybe not. You let me know what you think about it. But anyways, they say normally only 15 people can come on a guided tour. But anyways, getting back to this, Don was not easy to live with, and like most couples, we had our moments. This is the bottom line as well, but I never threatened him, and I certainly had nothing to do with his disappearance. When he disappeared, I did everything I could to assist the police. I encouraged them to check out the rumors from Costa Rica, and separately, I hired a PI, Robert Moore's Wondery podcast. Joe Exotic concluded a discussion of Don's disappearance. This podcast episode, the husband in his YouTube message spoke about it too. And he just basically went on to say that the podcast told how much of a liar Joe Exotic was. But I don't think anyone debates that Joe Exotic, he was the kind of person that would be a born salesman. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to stick up for Joe Exotic here. We're just going over this information because we all want to get down to, did this woman have something to do with her husband disappearing, right? But like it just seems they just want to point out how much of a dirtbag everyone is. You know what I'm saying? And like I was just stating, Joe Exotic was the kind of guy, he was a born salesman. They embellish a little bit. That's part of that game. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying there's not honest salespeople, but they stretch the truth sometimes, And I don't know. I just don't see how, if you're a good person, or if you're saying I'm the better person, these people are all scumbags. We're the only good ones. Everyone else ain't ish. Why you gotta just, in this statement, they could have put up some documents here, went over more stuff like here with those embezzling claims that I just kind of skipped over. Maybe they could have put up some info to support that, or a link or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, because you don't. Oh, they do have. Oh, they have the link to the podcast here. But anyways, Don's disappearance, but was much more honest and fair in their treatment of it. They ended the discussion by pointing out that the investigator told them that in their dealings with me, she was courteous, and there was nothing that jumped out at me in terms of her demeanor to make us think that she was not giving us accurate information or hiding anything. That doesn't really say anything to me. But yeah, and then it's got a link to the podcast, and that's about it. But you guys could slide over to this, like I said. Excuse me, do your own research on this. I just wanted to, go over what because this was their big thing here in that message. The Tiger King people hustled us, they conned us, they're all liars. We don't like this bad press we're getting. We want to let you guys know we're better than everyone, and we're gonna address, like I said, they stated that this here was to prove, that she had nothing to do with Don's disappearance. And, a big portion of this is going on about the zoo, which I get it. They want to talk about that, but this is it. This is their proof. You let me know what you guys think. This was just kind of a once over. But remember that when someone's putting out something to, prove their innocence or something, of course, yes, I'm going to fact check the information. But what I mean, it's not, I'm reacting to it right now. You don't, if you're telling the truth, you don't make things extremely vague. And do you get what I'm saying? She could have put out some info to support this, other than to a link of a podcast to someone that said, oh, I think Joe Exotic is a scumbag, basically. You know what I mean? And I just feel like they went really hard here trying to prove the incompetence of Don as a junk hoarding, demented, out of it, not in the right mind kind of guy who, like I said, the fact that he was still handling business, setting up things in Costa Rica, dealing with the mob over there, flying planes back and forth, and having other girlfriends, and then calling and complaining about her taking what she's calling junk. I don't know. It seems pretty coherent to me. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Sub to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Anyone new over here. I'm going to get really into this stuff, though. Like I said, this is just, we just had to go over this. But stay tuned, guys. Much more to come. Sub, hit the bell. I'm out of here. Let's talk about this in the comments. Peace.